What is going on there, gamers and gamettes and everybody in between? It's your boy QYZ, and to my bottom, and not like that bottom, get your minds out of the gutter, I mean literally beneath my camera, is the one, the only, SubtleFraudulence.
Yeah, you know, it's me. I'm back at it again with the fraudulence.
With the fraud, you know, very consistent, very consistent. I like it. It's been a while since we've done one of these, so like, you know, excuse us if we have a rather dirty format here, because we're just spitballing topics, because since the last time we done one, there's been a lot of things that happened. Starting with Twitch dropping the ball.
It's gotten worse.
It gets worse every day. Like, I'm sure I could look at Twitter right now and I could find something else we can add to the back burner of this conversation, but for y'all's sake, we'll try to keep it somewhat concise. Twitch, what are you doing? For those of you who don't know, Twitch decided that they were going to be right here, right in our chests, right in our pocket, echoing and amplifying Black lives by having have you seen the advertisement? You've seen the bump, right? On Twitter, which has been since removed. Twitter has, it backfired so hard, even Twitch was like, you know what? Maybe we should back down. Maybe we should get rid of that real quick. And you know, Twitch don't back down from nothing. They will double down and let Alinity's titties fly and let the pepperoni fall where it may. They don't care how bad they look.
Hey, whoa. I won't let you sit here and slander Alinity over here now that, you know, things are fine with her. Come on, man. She hasn't done anything wrong.
Pause.
She squashed the beef with Ninja, I think is who it was. I don't know.
Look, pause.
You know, but like, hey, man. What are you talking about? She's just trying to stream in Canada and stuff, and like, yeah.
Hey, look, Mudahar from Some Ordinary Gamer streams from Canada, and I ain't seen no problems come out of that, man. It's no matter what region you're from, it's very easy to be not problematic in the slightest. Like animal abuse, multiple time offender, letting the pepperoni fall where it may. Look, man, it's too raw out here, my guy.
Got investigated, and they said that animal abuse was not real. You know, she passed the flying colors, sir.
Bro, this is
slander that.
This is not a Law and Order SVU episode. All right, it's not going to be some episode of Monk where he's going to look at his hands and be like, "Oh my God, it was a green screen. The animals were never really there." Like that's not. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. I will not have it. There's no Captain Save a Hose on this team on this stream. Anywho, that's neither here nor there. Twitch decided they were going to run a Black Lives Matter campaign ad in which they were like, you need to amplify and echo Black lives. You need to see that Black voices matter. And now's the time for us to show it. Which all fine sentiments and all, except for one thing where they missed the boat. This stream has more Black faces on it than that entire advertisement.
Yeah. Had one Black face, I think maybe 1.5.
No, it was just the one racially ambiguously racial person on that commercial, and everybody else was as white as esports can be.
Man, they were showing their support for Black lives, you know, for Twitch, because forbid Twitch find creators to, like, you know, get this message, like the representation that it needs. But hey, you know, Twitch pointed out something that's part of the discussion. Twitch, why didn't you think to contact Black creators for your commercial about Black lives? You have a lot.
Look, man, they probably just got whatever they could get on standby, and it just so happened that's who it was. It was the goons. Do you
think those people were paid, by the way?
If they were, it would only be worse. But they used it as an advertisement. So I can't say that guaranteed they weren't paid, but man, let me tell you, that's not that. Come on, dog. We can't. Come on, Twitch. Don't make it go from bad to worse to just absolutely deplorable. But like, come on. Here's the thing about how I know there's not that many Black voices in the room over there at Twitch. It's not the fact that commercial got made. It was the fact that someone sat down in the editing room, looked at it and said, yup. Whoever was in charge of releasing it said, yup. The person who was the social media manager, who then took the time to tweet it, didn't say, hey guys, are y'all, they went, yup.
I'm gonna sit here and admit that the wool was also pulled over my eyes the first time I saw it. I saw that commercial and I was like, oh wow, that was pretty nice. And then like I read a comment of like, there was like no black people in this commercial, and I was like, huh. I don't know why I was expecting like Twitch to do something like different from this, but everything I saw in that commercial was expected. I was like, oh yeah, they got their top streamers to be like, oh well, we at Twitch support Black Lives Matter and we support, and it's just like, yeah, it's a bunch of white people.
I mean, it was par for the course. Like expecting anything less was honestly, I mean, that's honestly damage on your part. Like that. Come on, you knew the vibes. You if you really paid attention, you knew the vibe. You knew what it was. You knew the mix. But mix aside, then we roll into this whole thing where a lot of people are upset and they feel downtrodden because they're just like, black voices aren't amplified. And I don't know if you saw Cy Plays Games. He made a tweet where he was saying, I feel like there's a lot of times when I don't have my camera on and I get a bunch of viewers, and the minute I put that camera on, it's like, he's black, and they leave, and I was just like, man. I was like, look, look, I'm not big enough to where I notice a giant decrease in viewership, you know what I'm saying? But like, man, like, I'd hate to be in those shoes. I would hate to turn on my camera, and it's insane. Just. But that's not Twitch's fault. That would be more of the viewer base that you've cultivated, and like you're gonna have to find some answers within. But like, geez, man, like it must be hard out here for the melanated group, and it is. It definitely is. We can't even get in our own commercial. That's rough.
So my thing is, I didn't view it as like a commercial for us. I viewed it as a commercial for the people who don't like understand, which is mostly people. Well, when it comes to Twitch, it's mostly like people who are not black and who are like watching these Twitch streams, like have not been affected by any of that stuff at all because of the fact that they just, sit at home, they're watching their favorite Twitch viewer, they're not involved in any sort of like politics, they're not involved in any sort of like social situations, they're detached from a lot of stuff, and they also don't experience racism in their lives for whatever reason, whether it be because of their skin color or just because of like the way they live their life, who knows, but they're not exposed to that kind of stuff. So when they see a commercial with like a bunch of their favorite streamers, saying, oh, hey, we support Black Lives Matter, we support, our black coworkers, being respected. And they're like, oh, well, I know that guy. You know what? I understand that message.
I get that, to extend that olive branch. I genuinely do understand that. And if that's what they're going for, I mean, it's not as bad, but like you can't say amplify black voices and then there was no amplification at all.
Yeah, of the like black voices that they have in their own community on their platform, like that was a big mistake.
Because they have black folks who are Twitch ambassadors, and we all know that Twitch ambassadors is a term that literally means nothing. It's just a title that it's basically an empty title. That's a title that when you get it, sure, it sounds good, and it's always nice to put in your in your description on YouTube and Twitter and your bio on Instagram, but it really does nothing. I mean, you've seen they've opened up the floodgates. They got deers on that thing now. So hey,
Oh my god, that's another thing. All these things that have been happening have like gotten us away from the conversation of that person who specifically has thrown out these views that are like pretty like whoa, we should like
hold
calm down
there
here.
Now, Buckaroo.
Yeah, like there's some pretty like extreme views about the Twitch community and like people who watch like streams on Twitch in general, and the term gamers.
Look, let me tell you something. Twitter proved to me that gamers are hated, and here's why. When there is a giant sexual sting or sexual bust that happens in like a political ring, or a political candidate and their cabinet has a whole bunch of dirt. Yeah. I have never seen it on Twitter in the trending section neatly organized separated by name and account. Did you see it when it was trending on Twitter? Did you see how like each and every accusation had its own subset? I have never seen that.
It was wild.
I have never seen
I was getting hit by like algorithms, like, hey, you should probably know that Nairo is getting, that you should probably know that this person is getting. I'm just like, is that because of like people I follow?
Yeah, that's what I thought. But no, it was like number 1 or number 2 for a while. Well, it actually had to be number 1 because like you saw the headlining picture for it when you checked on trending.
Yeah.
But the way I was like, Twitter must have it out for the gamer word is because when they labeled them as gamers, I don't know if you saw how it was written, but it was like Senpai, a gamer, abused Puppa or Puppe, or however you want to pronounce it, a gamer. Like it made sure that they were both gamers. They made sure you 100% knew who they were.
Yeah.
But then it was like sectioned off individually into each and every single like piece of evidence. Like it was like D1 got his own section, Senpai got her own section, Nairo got his own section. Like it was just so weird because normally you don't see the trending page go like someone took the time to make sure you knew who to go after on this one, which I guess given the explicit nature of these allegations, you might have to do that just so there's no false start on the offense, which obviously would be the the people who are going to come after these people, and rightfully so. I mean, you can't have these type of people in your community, and having 1 is terrible. Having 2, literally despicable. Having 7, that's just opening up the floodgates. But if just a simple third of these allegations are true, you have 20 plus. And that's just if a third is true. Don't even get me started on that mega thread that got deleted. Like, there's an archive up on it. We'll probably put it in the description. That's a long, mighty list of names. I'm telling you that right now. And it's from a lot of content creators and gamers you wouldn't have expected it from.
Yeah, it's hard to like all that in because now you have this stigma that's over so like it's focused on the Smash community, even though the allegations with the Smash community came out after like a lot of Twitch streamers were being outed and Twitch was under fire. Mixer was also under fire, I believe. And
boy, well, we gotta talk about that too.
It's like, well, they're giving us the shit. Well, Facebook bought us out, guys. So, GG's. Good luck to you. Hey, you want to come over to Facebook? No? All right. Well,
good luck.
Good luck to you. I mean, I hope you find another platform that helps you out. Maybe that Twitch platform will do something. I mean, they were beating us up anyway. So, got it, man.
Yeah, we'll talk about Mixer afterwards, but man, like there's a lot to unpack with like streaming service. Like, first of all, I think I've made about this video 14 times over the past like 9 years. You don't know these YouTubers, content creators, Twitch streamers, cosplayers, event organizers, tournament organizers, people who do commentary, people who game at a high level. You do not know these people. You don't even know me. You don't know him.
But you don't know me, guys.
But for some reason, like some of these people are going to battle for Senpai and Zero and Nairo, etc., etc. Like they're going to battle for them more than they would go to battle for their families and friends if they were in the same predicament. Or worse yet, if they were the victim of the same predicament.
Okay, I'm gonna start with an anecdote of a Nairo fan. Mm-hmm. And what I had to witness after the Nairo allegations. So first off, Nairo's allegations against him. Well, Nairo. They're not allegations because Nairo actually like admitted to this. Yeah. Nairo and Captain Zach, mm-hmm. who was involved with Ally and why Ally got banned. Captain Zach and Nairo, they had an intimate relationship of some sort, apparently before Captain Zach and Ally had something going on. And I'm not going to get into details about that as far as the relationship goes, but it was of a sexual nature. Nairo was Nairo was an adult at the time, and Captain Zach was not. Captain Zach was 16 at the time, I believe. And so it got out. First, someone posted a tweet talking about like how Nairo is involved in this, and then Captain Zach said, "No, guys, that's not true at all." And then Nairo put out a whole thing of like, "I'm really tired of people, throwing out these kind of allegations against me, et cetera, et cetera." And then a couple of minutes later, maybe like an hour later at best, Zach is like, "All right, guys, here's the twit longer," and it's a giant statement describing how Zach and Nairo were intimately involved, and Nairo paid Captain Zach, I think, like $2,000 to not talk about it to anybody. So once this got out, of course, Twitter was ablaze. Mm-hmm. We were like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this!" And Nairo, once Nairo finally came out, he put out a statement. I'm sorry, guys, etc. You know the whole spiel. "Oh, I'm so sorry for my behavior.
No, they're
I'm
not.
so messed up.
No, they're not. They're sorry
I'm
that
just
they
gonna
got caught.
leave the community. I'm so sorry I let you all down. To all my fans, to all the people who sub to me on my stream. I'm so sorry.
They are sorry they got caught because, like you said, minutes before." "Nah, dog, it couldn't have been me. Nah, never."
He put out the denial.
He was like, I'm your boy. It's me, Nairo, your boy. 35 minutes later.
For that.
Just to get
the main
bodied.
problem with that is that like Captain Zach was like caping for Nairo in that situation of like, "Yeah, you guys leave Nairo alone." And then Nairo had to like get on his like high horse and be like, "Yeah, guys, you should all just leave me alone. I did nothing wrong." Knowing, oh well, he did everything wrong. Like, come on. And he paid for the silence of the victim in this situation. Come on.
That makes it worse. Like you not only did you double down, you tripled down. You did more than Neil Breen, bro.
So anyways, on Facebook, in like a random like group for, I think it was for like a convention, like a MomoCon group or something like that. Mm-hmm. Someone posted about the situation with the sexual assault allegations in Smash, and like a dude came out and was just like, "No, this is on someone like a person's status." That was on Facebook that like a bunch of people hopped on, but like a dude basically hopped on there and was just like, "I don't see what the problem is. I mean, like, there's like a 5-year difference here. Captain Zach knew what he was doing. I mean, like, it was an honest mistake. Nairo's not a pedophile. He just made a mistake." And it's just like, okay, guys.
or like this.
It's one thing to sit here and say, "Oh, he made a mistake because he let Captain Zach, do such and such. He did stuff with Captain Zach," knowing full well Captain Zach is an underage boy.
Facts.
It's a teenage boy, and you are an adult man. Like, that's not a mistake.
You are the adult. And then
like went out there as the adult and like he said yes to something that he should have said no to. And to prove that people can say no to this, the Buzz on his stream said that Captain Zach came after me too. He was pretty aggressive. And I said, "You're underage, so no thank you." And away. Like, as simple as that. Like, just leave me alone. I don't do stuff with little boys. Please leave me alone. It doesn't matter if he like may have like found Captain Zach attractive, or Captain Zach was being aggressive. It doesn't matter.
You're the adult.
Because you're the adult.
Like, look, man,
you're the one with the responsibility to say this is wrong. Get out of here. Like, and don't approach adults like this, because you'll get yourself into a bad situation. You continue being a teenage boy, and don't try to get into like adult situations because you're not grown.
Because guess what? How many times have you looked at your parents and said you really wanted something when you was a kid, and they looked at you like, "Excuse you and your entire clan? But you are my clan?" And then you realized, oh no, that means ass whooping if I continue on. All right, well, this is a hard nope. I'm gonna just move on with my life.
Yeah, how many times as like a 16-year-old did you say, "Hey, mom and dad, can you like buy me a car?" Knowing damn well you have not driven for maybe longer than like a week at best, and they're like, "Oh no, it's dangerous out there," and cars are very very dangerous. Also, if you don't know how to use them, they don't buy you the car because they are the adults who know the dangers of driving, and you are the teenager who doesn't know the dangers of driving because you don't drive.
Facts. These are very simple things. As an adult, you should know. But you know what? You know what? You know what?
Keep saying it's simple, and like
You
keep
right.
hearing all these stories, and
You
it's
right.
like, wow,
You're right. And
how is it not simple for you guys?
my favorite one on Twitter is Papa knew what he was doing. He was trying to get some
Oh
nice,
my god, that is
some nice elder lady pussy. And it was like, hey, yo, what?
on.
What are you? Hello? This thing on?
Onus is not on him.
And then they'd be like, that's right. If I was him, I'd do it too. That's not a victim. That's
Man,
someone who was mad lucky. And it's just like, bro, all y'all need to just
Started watching Law and Order SVU from season 1, episode 1 recently, and I will tell you right now, you can't sit here and say that the like kid, the teenage boy, the kid, the 14-year-old who's being approached by a woman that he found attractive who is an adult. The kid is at fault for being like, oh, she likes me. Well, I mean, I like her, so of course I would be a part of this. No, it's her responsibility to be like, he's 14. This is wrong. Wrong in the eyes of the law. This is wrong morally because he like doesn't have the development or the experience to be like, this situation is a situation where I'm being manipulated for my innocence. Like, I just don't get how, like, when they posted the picture of like Puppy from like an interview from
Bro,
I guess like a local that he won.
He
it
looked
was just
10.
like,
He looked
yeah,
10.
why?
Like, how do you not, how sweat, I don't, you know what, and some of these people, even though they've been outed, and now don't get me wrong, there's a huge varying sliding scale on the severity of a lot of these allegations, but some of these people who are over there in the do not come back zone, a lot of people still hold them in high regard. And then you got people like
annoying.
And then you got people like Anti who was like, you can't fire me, I quit.
Yo, that situation is so wild because like he's got allegations against him that he was being like really creepy and that he was being really aggressive with a lot of women, and he's just like, nah, ain't gonna do that to me. I'm gonna find a lawyer and I'll fight all of this. And then he puts out something on the stream. He's like, I'm never gonna show up to a Smash tournament ever again. Oh, by the way, I'm in a group chat with Nairo and Zero, and they're doing fine. They're like, they're doing all right. They're okay. And it's like, who is asking for that?
It's like, first of all, if you're trying to prove you're innocent, that's not the group chat you want to admit that you's in right now.
Yeah,
but
I'm in a group chat with these who admitted to their allegations being true. They admitted that they have conducted some sexual misconduct here. They've admitted that they have done some very horrible things, and that I'm in a group chat with them in spite of knowing that they have committed these crimes, actual crimes.
And my man led off with, and they're doing well, but I am not coming to a Smash tournament ever again. And it's just like, you wasn't invited. Like, I'm trying to figure. You know what?
Also heard that Nairo is most likely not getting any sort of like jail time because the statute of limitations on his situation passed, which is like,
that may be true in some of these situations, but I feel like a lot of these people aren't going to face jail time because I just don't believe that the people who came out and admitted, what had happened to them, even if they have proof and evidence, are going to the cops, because I don't think they want that schmiggity schmoke where they actually have to, actually put forth effort, like going to a court date, getting involved with, law enforcement, retelling the story yet again, making sure the ducks
don't
want to
deal with that kind of trauma.
And they feel as though the hullabaloo of that is somehow not worth it, which, like I said, I've never been a victim of these things, so like I would implore that we get these people behind bars, because if you told Harvey Weinstein, the worst punishment that he's going to face is you can't live in Hollywood anymore. He's just gonna move to Los Angeles and move to another part. That's a slap on the wrist. Like that's nothing. That's nothing.
But he tried it too. Like,
Yeah.
hey guys, I'm just an old man. Like, you don't need to put me in jail. It's like,
Or like
we see you, Harvey. You're a nasty old man.
Or like you get like some other some other dude who's like, just a straight up social degenerate rapist who's out here raping folks, and then their response to it is just this. Well, I guess I can't play Halo anymore. Halo was a big part of my life. What's going on, guys? I'm here on Twitch now streaming Apex Legends. It's like, what?
Believe it, man. Like, let your favorites go. Like as soon as you hear that they have committed that kind of crime, like they should not be your favorite anymore.
Well, as soon as it's confirmed, not when
like,
you just hear it. When it's confirmed, when the ink dries and the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, and we have you have that hard hit confirm on it. Nah, you gotta let these people go.
As soon as you have the confirmation that they did something like that, like the rap, no.
And nah, because like what was it? Like look. Some of y'all remember Leffen versus your boy for the color. Drop my mixtape.
My chillin' dude?
Yeah. Remember how he lost 5-0 and he ended it with my B? Y'all do not get the my B grooming kids. You don't get the my B that. That's not a my B. That's not a oopsie whoopsie.
The problem with all of this is one, fan bases like Zero's fan base who are like caping really hard for him. Like,
facts.
Hey, it doesn't matter that he did these things. Zero's trying to be a good guy, and he's going to therapy. Even though, by the way, guys, Zero did come put out those tweets saying therapy doesn't work, and he had therapy before. So isn't it kind of wild that he's like, yeah, I'm in therapy now, so therapy's gonna work this time? Like, okay.
It's like let me get this straight. You've been to therapy before, and you straight up told the world it ain't work. Now you going back. Who's to say that like after like a few months you're gonna be like, all right, I guess it worked, and then you just gonna move? Like, first of all, even like some of these people are just gonna come back like nothing happened. Like, it's just gonna happen. They're gonna come back and they're gonna be like, we missed you, and they're gonna test the waters. They're gonna dip their baby toe back in the stream game, and if they're welcomed back with open arms, you will never get rid of them for anything ever. I'm convinced.
Hugo tried to come back. Apparently the Mexico Smash scene welcomes that man back with open arms, and he's out there playing with the scene, and like he's like,
was that the dude
super
that
salt? Like they're all super salt.
Is that the dude that like tried to sleep with the one girl in the hotel room, or is that somebody else?
That's the guy. Yeah, that's the guy who assaulted Vicky Kitty, and like even now she gets shit for that, which is crazy because like she did nothing wrong. Like she was being assaulted by someone, and like people are somehow giving her shit for it, and it's like, what's wrong with you guys? Like leave the victims of these crimes alone.
Some people don't have no home training, no sense of responsibility. They just honestly, a lot of these people who are on the internet, it's become quite clear. They just want to talk a bunch of shit under the guise of speaking facts, when the only thing they really hope to God for is they just want to talk shit and hope no one talks back. That's where we're at with it right now. They just want to say whatever hot gobbledygook nonsense comes to the dome off rip, and just hope no one ever calls them on it. They just get to say it, and they just hope that like if any feedback at all, it's just someone typing in all caps facts. Talk to them. Or, the personal favorite everyone's got now.
Yo, this cancel culture stuff is crazy. I mean, they canceled all my favorites, man. Like, what do you? They canceled football. They canceled basketball. And
what content am I supposed to watch?
What am I supposed to do? It's like, bro, I don't know. Outside, get a new hobby.
Nah, see, you just said effort. You expect people to effort. See, that's the first mistake. Most of these people can't effort. They can't. That's why they go 0-2 in every game they play.
Get into political debates on Twitter then. Like, that'll take a lot of your time.
Please don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do
like, Hugo is trying to come back. Hugo's been trying to come back. The people are like, no. Like, are you serious? No. Like you can't come back. Like, the game is not that serious. We can live fine without you. You have situations where these like victims who put out their stories are getting shit on Twitter from like rando number 67 who loves Zero so much. He's just like, well, how do I know that you're not lying right now? And it's like, well, here's Zero's admission right here. Well, how do I know that Zero's not just saying this to appeal to you people?
Oh my
God. Oh God. Please leave the computer alone for like a week and you'll understand real world, sir. Like, sir or madam.
They ain't give you that option, bro. They ain't give you that option. Bro, you said walk away from the computer? Ha!
Facing that sort of persecution, like on Twitter alone, is enough to get these like people to not want to have to deal with the cops, not want to have to deal with like legal ramifications for these things, because like you have a whole investigation where people are asking you those kind of questions or even worse questions because they don't know you, they don't know anybody involved probably, and they're like, well, I'm just trying to be objective about this. And
here's the thing that I want to know though, right? Like, how many of these people who are victims, posted it on Twitter, but like their families still don't know because like they may not use Twitter or nothing like that? Like the Twitter universe knows. That was what I was thinking. But their family still doesn't know. And the reason why they don't want to come out is because then they would have to admit it to their family because why are the cops at my door? Then you'd have to tell, come on, man. Y'all know parents. Especially a lot of them who grew up in an era where this esports and like clout stuff didn't matter.
Puppet situation.
That's a wrap. They gonna come for Zero.
Yeah.
They gonna come for some of these people. Like some parents, they might go full Punisher mode. It's not gonna be a good look.
Did what? Oh, turn off the computer. I'm taking it. Here's mine.
Hey, look, man. Y'all saw what happened to that one chick, Boxy or whatever. Y'all way back. Yeah, the throwback. Y'all didn't think y'all would hear that in 2020. I backtraced it. Consequences will never be the same again. You might have a part 2 of that, and trust me, you don't.
Man, we all remember, good old Jesse Slaughter, who's that? Yeah,
Jesse Slaughter. There you go. There you go. Look, I'm sorry, man. All these folks, like, they all look the same to me at this point. Don't worry, I'm a minority. I get to say it.
No, stop. Like, what are you doing? No, man, I can say it because, like, no, if you got to start off with, I can say it because then, no, it's better if you just don't say it.
And before I get called sexist for that, like that's the thing. My point is, I will get canceled for what I just said. But, I ain't got, I'm saying, I ain't got the clout yet, you know what I mean? Wait, hold on, wrong arm. I ain't got the clout yet, you know what I'm saying? So, like, you know what I mean? Like, once I start, winning tournaments and regionals, all of a sudden, everything I said is just gold. It's just gold.
If
it's insensitive right now.
Someone came out, tomorrow with proof Daigo Umehara has been out here doing some crazy stuff. I'll be like, I'm sorry, Daigo, but I appreciate the wins and the moments that you've like given us in the past, but it's over for you, bro. Like I have no support for you anymore, Daigo Umehara. Like, oh, Kuroda. There we go. That's actually like a real representation of this. Kuroda, the Third Strike player, was out here doing stuff to kids, and like he got arrested for that in Japan. Kuroda, I think he's in jail now because of that. Like, he was a beloved Third Strike player, and then it was like, yeah, Kuroda going to jail for molestation charges, and it's like, I'm out of here, man. I'm not gonna like sit here and be like, but all the sick plays he did, in like 2006. Like, come on, man. Like,
I mean, but people say stuff like that though.
We gotta like really set a precedent at favorite players. Yes, they brought you some good moments in the games, maybe in their streams or whatever. But if they killed someone tomorrow, you gotta accept the fact that person killed somebody, and that killing someone is a very, very serious thing and should not be taken lightly.
Facts. See, Cheap and Weepin' gets it. when you out here diddling kids, like, nah, you don't get to pass go. You don't get to collect $200. You go directly to jail. That's what should happen every time. It won't. I mean, Mr. Wizard's dealing with his own subset of problems right now, and boy,
that's another thing we gotta talk about. Evo,
hold on, pause.
Cancel.
Pause. Is Evo might be the first tournament to go 0-2. It might be the first tournament to get canceled twice in the same year.
Man,
like some of this stuff is reaching some new lows. So if you want to take the Mr. Wiz story, go for it. But man, my man apparently Mr. out here. Wizard, you got it.
Mr. Wizard got outed by someone on Twitter, basically saying that Mr. Wizard was got them to do some very insane things, like entry into tournaments and like tickets to certain clubs and things like that. Like Mr.
Arcade
Wizard was
tokens.
out here like, yo, arcade tokens and shit. Like, hey, yeah, why don't you jump in this pool over here with like no pants on so I can see it? And it's like he was like the dirty of the dirty. He's the guy in Law and Order SVU episode who's like, yeah, I got on the subway and I touched her. I mean, it's because I like broads. What do you mean?
Nah,
I'll do it again.
It's like, it's them episodes where the guy, like, when Stapler and Benson first roll up, he's like, nah, I've been clean. I've been in therapy for years. And then, like, next thing you know, they have like that sting operation where they get like one kid that just lather up and he just starts sweating.
He shows up to like the Dateline, house or whatever. It's like, well, hey, Timmy, I'm here. It's like, oh, hey, don't worry, I'll be out here in a minute. And then Benson Stapler come out here, put your hands on the wall right now. Get on the ground.
I wasn't doing anything. I was just trying to tell them that they shouldn't be at the home letting strangers come in alone. I'm innocent, I swear.
Nice try, guy.
But
Stapler like throws him into a wall. Oops, sorry.
Yeah, that's the oops. Quiz, would you say that this is like decades of the FGC's problem building up to this point? Look, back in the 90s and early 2000s and even in the 2010s, like a lot of people are trying to say that this is the thuggery. This is not the thug. That's unrelated. That is unrelated. What this is a lot of people in the old guard went by old guard principles. If that shit ain't affecting me, ain't no problem. Only until it's like something that was like so out of this world egregious would you come forward. And at that point,
the old guard is like, I heard rumors.
Yeah, like rumors, but like,
proof, so why would I say so?
Because like back then, you didn't have Twitter. Everybody didn't have a camera on them at all times. So a lot of this stuff was hearsay. And sure, a lot of people may have knew about it. But, a lot of these people who are from the old guard and, a lot of people who have been, deeply entrenched in a lot of these communities have become cornerstones of aforementioned communities or, pillars of the group. A lot of these people, I don't want to say have cult of personalities because I feel like that's giving it too much credit, but a lot of them have gotten this point where they have their roots planted so deeply that they can get away with stuff and they know they can. Like, for example, people used to collude in fighting game tournaments all the time until TOs just said, nah, enough. There were hard punishments for it. It wasn't, you get a reduced prize. It didn't really stop happening until they said, no prizes for any of you. I'll give it all the third place if I have to. When there's actual hard and enforced punishments, all of a sudden people stop doing stuff. Who's going to punish the people who are the roots?
Mr. Wizard was like the representation of Evo to a lot of people, even though Evo was started by the Cannon brothers. So, when you have Mr. Wiz out here doing like the creepy stuff in the background, and like he had like it was called like the pool club or something like that, and someone on Twitter like released a video footage from like old days of people like jumping into this pool. I guess it was like a pool like fountain outside of Evo or whatever, like getting in their pants and jumping into this pool and whatnot. And after getting the context of his crimes, like that whole thing was nasty because like that was the type of stuff he was telling them to do for his like sick pleasure, like give them a like entry to Evo or like a pass to to grand finals or like it's nonsense.
Like let me give you a brief analogy. Like I know some of y'all watch wrestling. It's like when like you hear interviews about the backstage politics that go on in wrestling. Like yes, Shawn Michaels was a sack of shit to people, but you, from the outside looking in, were like, I thought he was just a great wrestler with a magnificent talent. You didn't know he was out here like just doing all types of shit, going on benders. You didn't know Scott Hall was just cracked out of his mind all the time. Hell, you didn't know Hulk Hogan was not a fan of the black people. My man came out with Dennis Rodman.
Oh, I forgot.
He came out with Dennis Rodman, gave that man the too sweet salute in the middle of the ring. Let him hold the championship after the Bulls won their championship. But you wouldn't have known he wasn't a fan of the black people, would you? No? That's what we're talking about. Like, the average person, because remember, back in those days, East Coast versus West Coast, East Coast folks weren't involved in West Coast stuff. It wasn't global like that. People on the East Coast we weren't up Japan's, but we couldn't. If Infiltration did something back then and Japan knew it, Japan would have to handle it. We would just be like, damn, that's crazy. And then we would move on with whatever shit we were doing.
Infiltration's actually Korean, sir. So,
I didn't know that. I learned something today. Thank you for correcting me.
Yeah, Infiltration's Korean.
Thank you for correcting me. But you get my point. Your region would have to deal with it.
As a result of, these stories and allegations.
Hold on. Did I say he was Japanese?
Mr. Wizard coming out.
Is that what I said?
He said he was Japanese.
Oh, okay.
Said Japan would have to deal with it.
Yeah, all right.
Korea would have to deal with it.
I'll take the L.
I don't remember what part of Korea he's from, but whatever. So after the allegations came out against Mr. Wizard, bunch of companies were like, yeah, we're not going to be a part of Evo. A bunch of commentators also were like, until they figure out this Mr. Wiz situation, I'm not going to be a part of Evo Online. It got to a point where so many people bowed out of Evo Online that Evo came out and said, Mr. Wizard is not a part of Evo anymore. Evo Online is canceled.
Did not stop developers from pulling out as well.
Yeah. Tom Cannon is the acting not CEO, but head of Evo for right now until they can find a replacement for Mr. Wizard. And we apologize for what's been going on. And then Mr. Wizard came out and put some half-assed apology, oh, I'm so sorry for all these things that happened in the past. I'm trying to be a better person. It's
it's too late for that, because you weren't. Because this stuff is almost a decade old now, which means you had over 3,000 opportunities to come clean, talk about it, clear the air, apologize, move on, grow as a person. But nah, you tried to keep it in the back pocket, and then when it was no longer hush hush, all of a sudden now it's time to say sorry. Now all of a time it's time to dial it back, which is really weird because, as we said, it was rumors, but there was some streamer, I forget who it is. I want to say he's a New York cat. I could be wrong. But he brought up these allegations in 2017, 2008, and it just seemed like a runoff stream.
Oh no! That was Mike Watson at Super Arcade. Mike Watson was doing a stream when he announced that Super Arcade was closing for good again, and he was playing Street Fighter 4, and he just very kind of casually said that Mr. Wizard and a lot of people that you look up to or whatever have been out here doing some crazy stuff, and people just kind of brushed it off. Some people might not have even seen it because it was just on his stream, and it didn't for whatever reason it just didn't pick up momentum.
Yeah, 'cause it was back in the Street Fighter 4 days.
It was Street Fighter 5 days. It was not that long ago. Because Mike Watson, he brought Super Arcade back around the time they had Marvel Infinite tournaments. I'll just say that. Okay, they have Marvel Infinite tournaments, but Super Arcade didn't do well, and he had to close it back again. And so he was doing a farewell stream to explain the situation of Super Arcade and stuff. And of course, people were asking him stuff in the chat and whatnot, and he just straight up said it. He's some of your favorites are out here doing some dirty stuff. And people just kind of, I don't know, I guess they thought it was a joke or something, but it didn't, because he didn't name specifics, he didn't say, okay, this is what I know. People didn't really do anything with it.
But he definitely was talking about. I think he did. All right, he may not have dropped Mr. Wiz by name, but he was talking about the naked jumping jacks. That was something that he brought up specifically.
Specifically brought up the naked jumping jacks.
So I'm like,
that was one of the things that Mr. Wizard wanted people to do.
Yeah, and I was just like, sometimes I'm not saying you got to believe everything you hear, but sometimes you got to look, you got to peel back that veil. You got to really look into things, because sometimes even when you do, sometimes you just don't see it. I mean, Troll was really good friends with D1, and I remember that we had to talk that man down from drinking too much, because apparently that man was drinking for like 2 a.m. and I hit him up at like 3 p.m. the same day. He's like, I just don't believe it, man. I just can't believe it, man. And it's like, look,
let's just go ahead and talk about the D1 situation, because that's, well, the D1, so D1 and Kataro situation, because I think they happened at the same party, or they're just like very similar situations anyways.
Mm-hmm.
But D1 and Kataro both put out statements admitting to these things happening. Some other people in the circle put out some screenshots and things basically saying that, D1 knew what was up and he was trying to cover it up. That's hearsay right now with screenshots. But D1, okay, so D1 was at a party at Sky's house, Sky Williams.
Oh, one of his houses, mind you. One of.
Oh, he did have several. Okay. Anyway,
he had like so 3 or 4, and it's not that's a whole other can of worms we can also open. But
yeah, we'll go into that like after this. But like, they were at a party at Sky's house, and this is like one of those like, after parties after a big tournament, probably like a major or something. And they're all partying there. There were some players there who were underage, who were like, not of drinking age, but were drinking anyways. And I believe the girl in question was not of drinking age, but I think she might have been 17 or 18, something like that. Don't quote me on that, but like, anyways, she was drunk. One was older. She was like 16 or 17, because like underage. One was drunk, she was drunk, they had sex. Might not have been consensual. I don't remember honestly like that specific detail, but I remember that they were drunk, and something happened, and afterwards D1 like tried to be like really shady and kind of cover it up. And so, of course, the victim put out her statement and said, this is what happened. This is what, D1 did to me. And he hasn't tried to like contact me or whatever. He contacted like people that knew her to be like, oh, is she all right? But not admit to it. Kitaro situation, Kitaro and a girl who was underage. They showed up to this party. They were playing, they were drinking, and he claims that they had consensual sex, but she was underage. So
that disqualifies that,
He's like, oh, I'm so sorry that I did this. I can't believe I did this. It's like, you can't believe you did this. Like, what? It's just like he was basically like admitting to doing it and trying to put the like sad boy, like, I didn't mean for it to happen like this kind of spin on it. And it doesn't change it from being something illegal. It doesn't change it from being something that's wrong. Like, you did something wrong, you knew about it, and like you are now being remorseful about it because it's out there. You weren't remorseful about it like the day after, to be like, oh, I'm so like sorry that this happened. I'm gonna like close myself. I'm gonna make sure that the right things happen as a result of this, because I should not have done that. There was no that was going on. I think there was like it's like hearsay that D1 might have like tried to like pay the girl off also in like a Nairo kind of way, but at the very least he was trying to like silence the victim get out there because he had fame, he had a reputation to uphold and what. And reputation should not be more important than anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, D1 and Kataro, they both were in a situation where they were drunk at a party with an underage girl, and they slept with an underage girl. That's wrong. That's statutory rape, at the very least, and it's not cool. It's not something to just be like, I'm sorry, guys, I'm just gonna disappear now. Like, no, you committed a crime, bro. Like, get back over here.
Yeah, you can't go into hiding. You can't go on the lam. Nah, nice try. You gotta catch some of this work, my guy. But
Well, Anti's allegations also go are wrapped up in that too, because Anti, DJ Nintendo, the Moon, aka La Luna, they're all wrapped up in this these statements that they apparently take these trips to Mexico and go out to all these parties and whatnot to allegedly get girls drunk and have sex with them, and in some cases have sex with underage girls. So far that I've seen, there hasn't been a confirmation on that, but that's mostly because Anti is oh, fuck all that. They trying to ruin my rep. I'm gonna get some lawyers and I'm gonna fight them. Up. So
then you had PB&J's name got thrown up, but then when you read his allegation, it's like there's nothing here, which is really weird. But
it is. Well, you know more about his allegation than me. I saw his name come up in one of the things about the trips to Mexico, but I was but it was casually named as he might have been there sort of thing, not a he.
I know he takes trips a lot, but this is how it was told to me. So once again, I take this one with a grain of salt. But from what I heard was he did exactly what he was supposed to do. Apparently, he was kissing on some girl. And for whatever reason, she was like, nah, I'm not feeling it. And then he was like, okay, and he left. That's what I was told, which I don't really see a problem there. I mean, unless it was a rapey kiss where she didn't have any part of it at all. But
if she didn't ask for the kiss, he just came up on her and was like, yo, what's up? And then grabbed her or something. Okay, that's wrong. But if they were both consensually making out with each other and he went to grab something and she was like, no. And he's like, oh, all right. And he left. And that's the only way that's how he should approach that situation. He should just leave as soon as he committed the wrong. As soon as he made someone feel uncomfortable, it's like, oh, I'm sorry. And then, get out of there. That's the most you can do. He can't go back in time and not make the attempt.
It's just mad weird, bro. It's just mad. There's just so many of them, which is just, there's a lot of information you got to sift through here.
Yeah, they were trying to bring up allegations that were against Gimmer from years and years ago, and all the people who were around when the original allegations came out also said, look, this dude that's putting out these allegations and these rumors and stuff, that guy that's bringing it up now has had a vendetta against Gimmer and a lot of the people in that region, because he has been one of those people that goes to tournaments and steals shit. He steals controllers and game discs and consoles and stuff like that. And so they had their problems with that guy. And even Gimmer came out and clarified the situation that it was a girl that he was dating who was very vindictive about whatever happened to cause their breakup. And she was trying to get some sort of revenge against him. And even she has admitted that those were false allegations. She nothing or didn't do anything to her, and that she was just trying to get revenge and be really petty. And that's the last I've heard of that. Oh, people who live with Gimmer and stuff like that said, I never saw anything happen. It's the most I can say about it. But at the end of the day, it seems like it's because she's trying to get revenge against him or whatever. And then Gimmer came out and said, oh, that whole thing has been squashed ages ago. It shouldn't be brought up again. Like, she doesn't want to be bothered with it. I don't want to be bothered with it. Like, let it
Just
go.
trying to move on and get past it. But you know what you can't move on and get past? The house you live in.
Oh,
because
man.
So Sky Williams is, I don't even know what he did. I know he was a YouTuber. I know he did Smash related things, but I'm pretty sure he didn't play the game like that.
Sky Williams played the game for like his YouTube channel mostly, and like Sky was like a commentator during like Smash 4 era. Apparently, Sky was around during Brawl era, but I do not remember hearing anything about Sky's like existence until Smash 4 was a big thing, and Sky was like at a lot of these bigger events, like doing these commentary gigs and stuff. And then after a while, Sky kind of disappeared. I guess I thought it was like because of YouTube. These details, it might be because of some other stuff.
Yeah, but like when you hear, all right, so some of the things about his house was, did you hear about how you had to address each other in the house? Like how Sky would address folks. Like you could address them by their real name, their Smash tag, a spirit animal nickname that Sky gave them, or a racial-based name that they gave them.
Oh, I did not hear about the racial-based name.
Yeah, Sky apparently just had free reign. And let's just say, for instance, let's say me, you, and several of our friends or some of our cohorts are rooming in this house. And let's just say the rent's like $350. Let's just say the rent's $350. And let's just say somebody's a little short this month. Apparently, this man says, well, until I get my money, I'm going to go in everybody's room one by one and break the most expensive thing I see.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to break stuff.
And it's like, look, I don't know if any of y'all signed a leasing agreement, but y'all should have signed a leasing agreement. Like, I understand this is not something that's taught in American public schools, unfortunately, but this is something people got to know. If you're going to live somewhere, you need some paperwork.
Let's get one thing straight here. If they didn't sign any sort of leasing agreement, this guy is in there breaking their like expensive things.
You can take him to court for property damage.
You're breaking my stuff. It doesn't matter if like we had some sort of agreement about me living here. You're breaking my stuff, and that was not a part of the agreement. And we should throw hands anyways. Like,
and according to the allegation, it straight up says, hey, it was like this. He was going to say, hey, bro, I'm going to pretend like to know you when I call the police and yada, 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 which you can easily prove is wrong because you have his contact information. You clearly message him to even get in the house. That's number one. Number two, everybody else in that house, they know you. They're like, come on, like, that's really weird that he's going to call the police if he's basically saying, if I can beat you up, you could fight me or whatever, but if I don't think I could beat you, I'm going to just call the cops and get you arrested. That was his way of threatening them to keep them in line to let him just break stuff.
Weird thing is, what did they do if they, like, what does he do now if they all just move out? They're like, all right, fuck you, man. And then they go, like, get their own house and they do something like that. Like, what do you...
Look, I have no idea, but like some of these people apparently had like 20 people in the house because these were like no small joke houses usually, but you know what I'm saying? He had about like 20-ish residents there, and also you had to clear having a roommate over or like, you know, a friend come through, and if he didn't approve of the roommate, it just wasn't happening. And
you can stop right there. I'll go ahead and live somewhere else.
Yeah, and one of my personal favorite details in the twit longer that was put out was if you are someone that Sky doesn't like, or one of your friends that comes over that month is someone who Sky doesn't like or doesn't gel with, or you know, maybe someone like if you have like a co-room ship, like you have an actual roommate in your room, and they don't like your roommate, you both now have to pay a I don't like this dude tax on top of the rent.
I don't like this dude tax. Come on, man.
And I'm like, what? Huh? Why would you agree to something like that? Like, it sounds like a lot of these are like rules that he might have made like on the fly. Like, oh, okay, well, now that you're living here and you've brought someone over that I don't like, well, you're gonna have to pay money next time you do something like that. It's like I could see Sky being the person that like was doing that, and people were like, yo, what? And then they just tried to like deal with it because they didn't want to have to deal with not having a place to live. I mean, in the twit longer, it does say that a lot of his rules became like based on impulse and just how he was feeling on a particular day.
Yeah.
And apparently there was two main golden rules. Do not, in any circumstance, even if the house is on fire, wake the man up. Don't you ruin his sleep. And number two,
Fine. If the house is on fire, we'll let you sleep, bro.
and number two, if you did have a guest that was coming over and Sky wasn't notified and he finds out about it, apparently he just flips his shit. If you didn't follow these rules, there could be punishments depending on his mood. Actually, let me pull it up. All right.
Yeah, that is a dude with a lot of problems.
All right. So, okay. So, in this example, he threatened to break something of value in every room unless he got $350 in cash because somebody had a friend over that he didn't know about. That wasn't even rent being late that time. House B apparently had a rule where a kitchen and living room must be cleaned every night or else he raised the rent via a 3-strike system for most of the residents, or certain privileges were taken away. For example, borrowing his car, using his laptop for viewing anime, movies, using the Wii U, or feeding someone. Which, that's too much. Like, that's too much going on in one house, first of all. Like, I don't...
Too much.
And then the person who wrote this was like, yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like, some of us, who were cool with him, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got the room for free. And I was like, hold on. If I'm paying anything and somebody's bumming it, nah.
He and Sky have a problem.
Yeah,
Like, as simple as that.
Like, I don't understand how this can go on and nobody, like, nah. This couldn't, for 4 or 5 years? Come on, bro. Nah.
It's not worth it.
And apparently, according to the security was lax there too, because apparently the doors were always unlocked, but all they had was a gate and a security camera at House D. But stealing became a notable issue because if it was in the fridge, it was most likely going to be taken at some point. I mean, you got 20 or so people in there, like, you know what I'm saying? All it takes is one person to say.
Oh, man, yeah.
Like,
those aren't even good living conditions. Like, you got to live with 20 people and share a fridge?
Yeah, like, that's not good. And then let's be honest, there's only a finite amount of blankets, hygiene products, clothes, like nothing was safe. You see somebody's shoes, bro, gone, bro.
You're gonna take my shoes? Like,
bro, you put a monitor in the closet, bro, it's gone, bro. Because if you put it in the closet, apparently it's for house usage. So if I need a third monitor and you put your monitor in the closet, it's my monitor right now.
That's trash. And on top of that, like, apparently Sky only got the houses because he like borrowed a large sum of money from other people and just didn't pay them back.
And that's a whole thing. But you know what's crazy? Let me read you this one. Spending was suboptimal. Money has always been an issue, and when Sky did receive money, it'd be likely spent on luxuries. When I moved into House A, he would treat everyone to Korean barbecue every other day. If there was a new camera, he had to get it. There was an instance where Sky needed rent, and when I gave it to him, he proceeded to go to Vegas that night to gamble. Another instance, a resident entered his room without permission, so he said he would spend the money we needed to survive on things to make himself feel comfortable. And there's proof. He has screen grabs. He has the log on that one. And this is what he says. At the end here, it says why no one spoke up. I can't speak for everyone, quite frankly. People were scared. Sky is diligent when combing through social media platforms. Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, 4chan, etc. So if something was said about him, he would 100% know. It was extremely difficult to confront him about the issues directly. We'd seen as ungrateful or straight up wrong, and his reaction could be far worse. I'll leave the others to share their stories. One mild example would be the time he clashed with a housemate and ended up pouring a bottle of Coke all over the floor in a fit of rage. Look, I understand he's the hope, but like, y'all can't be letting a 4-year-old in a man's body be having power, bro. You can't.
Exactly. Like, if there's 20 of you in that house, first off, y'all can take them and then call the cops and be like, let me tell you about this living situation this person is forcing us to be under. You know, like, come on. Like, it's just Sky. It was like Sky taking advantage of a lot of like kids, teenagers, very young adults
who are very impressionable, who just thought like, I'm living the clout life, baby.
Yeah, and just probably didn't even like realize that they could, I don't know, call the cops with this like domestic abuse that's going on here. Like, are you kidding me?
And he also had a live stream in which he tried to defend himself, and by defend
Oh,
himself, I mean double down. My man just said, "Yeah, I did it, but you got to understand, you got to keep the inmates in line." It's like, hello, what? This thing on?
He named he named one of the victims who was trying to be anonymous. Like he did that. Like he just accidentally let the name slip out.
Yep.
And that whole thing was a shit show of like Sky trying to get like sympathy from people. It was like, I just tried to do the best that I could to like, keep everybody in line and this and that. It's like, okay, but you did the whole thing, thought of it all by yourself. Like you were trying to like people in line with your crazy rules of like, instead of just letting them live.
And you know what the crazy part was? Even after all that, and then he came out with like a long Twitter thread where he was like, it's today's where I think things are getting uneasy, and like tried to play the whole I might kill myself card, and everyone was like,
oh my God,
bro, what are you doing right now, my guy? Well, what are you doing right now, my guy?
Such a shitty thing to do, because now everyone is forced to, at the very least, care about his safety and make sure that he doesn't do anything crazy and try to like hurt himself. Because at the end of the day, that's a person, and even though he did some like shitty things, no one wants him to
deserve to like die. But like, geez, it's the bingo card for how do I get out of jail for free? That's the ticket. I might kill myself, guys. I might just do it. That it's just.
So, by the way, this mega thread here has reminded me that the CEO of Twitch definitely got called out for sexual misconduct.
Yep, and boy, have they tried everything to throw that under the bus. They were like, hey, look at this over here. Black Lives Matter. Oh, what about this over here? Ooh, we suspended sexual assaulters. Ooh, like they've done a lot to make sure that you get hit with the bait and switch. But please, go on.
Angry Joe got called out also. Like,
wait, which Joe?
Angry Joe put out like a statement. Angry Joe.
Okay, so here's what happened with that, and this is why this one's very interesting. So Angry Joe gets called out. He says, what? That's insane. And just goes on and on and on. And then he just says, you know what? Fuck it. I'm lawyering up. It's go time. And then all of a sudden, it just disappeared. Then she just admitted that she deleted the tweet and said it never happened and yada, 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 which was weird. But it's just like, Here's the problem. I don't care how much you hate someone or how vindictive you are to someone. Every time you lie about these allegations, all you're doing is hurting the chances that people who are abused are believed. That's all you do. You don't hurt the person you quote unquote hate. I mean, you do hurt yourself, but I don't care about that. You hurt people who have true trauma, true abuse stories, true survivors of some of this deplorable shit that happens in our world. And now they're even less believed because you wanted to cry wolf for some what? Some likes, some retweets, some sympathy clout? That's trash. You got to stop that. That's terrible. But alas, that's where we're at with it right now. It's not a good look for anybody.
Last one that I want to mention, because there are so many. Last one I want to mention, because this one hit home. Sleepy K.
Because he's a Georgia player, right?
Yeah, Sleepy K is a Georgia Melee player who was one of the people who was like, we should get abusers out of the Smash community. Turned out to be an abuser. So Clementine put out a tweet longer saying that PK and Clementine had been friends, and that Sleepy K and Clementine had been texting a lot and stuff like that, and then PK got drunk and started soliciting nudes, and then Sleepy K went out of their way to go to I think South Carolina to take Clementine, who was underage at the time, out to lunch and get food and stuff. And then Sleepy K tried to have sex with Clementine, And once this twit longer came out, CPK admitted to it and I'm sorry. I'm trying to get help. It's really messed up. And then Sleepy K deleted their Twitter and like disappeared.
I picked the wrong day to wear a Smash shirt. I just realized the shirt that I'm wearing. Oops.
Well, it's not like in the frame well enough, so the others won't notice.
Yeah, you're right. I should have just kept it to myself. They'd be like, "Hey, that's that Final Fantasy font up there," and I should have just went, "Yep." Oh well, keep going.
PK is someone that I've been acquainted with since like Brawl days. Like it's been like 10 plus years that I've like been around this person, and like Sleepy K seemed like a very nice and like stable person, and that just goes in to show that you don't know who is capable of these, like, or who is gonna like do these things.
Because some of these people might be some people you dapped up, shook up with, threw a couple of drinks back with, you know what I'm saying? Played some games with, thought were really cool people. And then you turn around, get hit with that 180 no scope, and now they touching kids. And you're like, excuse me, how did we come to this crossroads?
Sleepy K was a staple in the community. And apparently, according to like someone on Twitter, like Sleepy K was also on the code of conduct board for at least Melee. So yeah, so even though Smash is trying to have like a code of conduct board to be like, hey, we're gonna like be like, these are the rules for tournaments. You break these rules, you're out. Even people on those boards could be the ones that are up to no good.
And trust me, every comic book and anime has taught you that plot device. The people who make the rules are the demons. Yep, we've seen that time and time again.
Oh, man.
But you know what else we've seen time and time again?
What?
All right, so I don't know if you want to keep going down this dark rabbit hole of this stuff. Like, if you want to keep getting the shovel and keep digging, we keep going. But I feel like we should go down another corridor, because there's another thing that came out. It's not allegations.
Let's go.
It's The Last of Us 2.
Oh.
And look, let me just start off by saying, look, there are people who are using this game's sexuality, and when I say the game sexual, I mean Ellie's sexuality in the game, to justify their hate or to justify their love for the game. And I ask one
people
question.
Who are also using Ev to justify their hate or love for the game.
And I'm just like, look, I just have one question. Just one question. Did any of y'all motherfuckers play the first game's DLC? Because the whole she could be bi or lesbian, that whole thing was explored in the first game. So the fact that people are using that, the people who are using that to either defend the game or hate the sequel, both of those camps are stupid. That's dumb. That's foolish. That's like if, let's just say for the sake of the argument, here, Sonic the Hedgehog. Let's just say in Sonic Adventure, there's a moment where like Tails and Sonic kiss. Let's just throw that. I understand the fan fiction people are going crazy and their flaming keyboards, fingers of fire, are going absolutely nuts right now at the mere mention of that. But let's just say that happens in Sonic Adventure, right?
How'd you know about my fan game?
But let's just say that happens in Sonic Adventure 1, right? Sonic Boom comes out or Sonic 06 comes out. That does not mean that Sonic 06 and Sonic Boom are good games now because Sonic is bi-curious. That is not how that works. But at the same time, that doesn't mean Sonic Mania is a bad game because Sonic's bi, that has nothing to do with something that was already explored in a past time. Like you don't get brownie points for that. That's not how that works. But anyways, we're not here to talk about the sexuality of the characters. We're here to talk about the actual game. Now,
wait. One thing, real quick.
Okay.
The marketing of the game is like that. That's where like I have like a slight problem with it.
Oh, because it was a lie?
No.
Because they lied to you. They definitely lied to you.
Okay. So not even like the part about the lying. So when the first trailer for the game came out, they made a point to show Ellie and Dina, like getting close to each other and stuff, so that people would be like, "Oh my God, Ellie's gay," because they knew that would like push people to like talk more about the game. And I hate the fact that we are still at a point where that kind of marketing works.
Yeah, it's called pandering, and like, let's be honest, given the trailer and seeing how it was a new character, it's like, don't you try to tokenize this. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong. You can show whatever you want in the trailer. I'm not saying that's a wrong thing. But the way that they showed it was like, fine. This was the reason to get the game. Or you like, push hey guys, that narrative. Like, it's like, that's why you need to see it. It's like, but what about the game itself? But once again, I understand that sex sells. I understand that sexuality sells. I get all that. And you say Druckmann was the person responsible for the DLC for the first game. I mean, the DLC for the first game was actually kind of fine. It was lit. It was fine. It was fair. Good story. Like, let's be honest. It wasn't bad. Actually, I believe that might be one of the highest rated DLCs. Like, actually, go look it up. Like, people actually love that DLC. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're going to talk about the second game. So for me, I've played it. I've thought about it. And I'm going to be up and honest with you. The first game, I was not the biggest fan of the gameplay. Wasn't the biggest fan. Wasn't thinking that the controls were the tightest. Yada, 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 yada. But I was hoping that you know, they would tighten some things up, you know, throw a little bit of wrinkles into the game plan. All they did was basically give you a jump button. It was basically Last of Us 1 with the ability to jump. And if I have to do one more push dumpster to climb on roof puzzle again, I'll slap somebody. Get tired of them dumpsters, man. Man, what? That once again, that's neither here nor there. So the game itself, it opens up very slow paced, and you know that's perfectly fine. I don't mind a slow burn. It's perfectly fine. In the first game, it gave you a narrative in which it told you what the characters were up to, how things were shaking out, what the moral ambiguity was, yada, 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 so on and so forth. And you cared about all the characters involved. You wanted to make sure that, you know, all these people could get to their final destination. And you lost some people along the way. You had to watch a kid turn viciously overnight. Someone that you were in the trenches with trying to save. And you have to put him down.
I want to say one thing about the way the game started because...
Well, before we get to that,
okay, the sequel.
Before we get to that, I just got to finish.
The sequel is just for a reason.
I just got to finish this. And then you watch his older brother be like, "No, he was the only thing in my life," and then he kills himself. Like you had some gripping moments in the story where you're like, okay, beat by beat, you were learning more about the character and more about the, you know, the crazy shit that's going on in this world. And then when you compare that to the second game, the way they tell the story, you don't give a fuck about nobody. And I understand what they were going for. They were trying to go for the, well, you got to understand, in the real world, you could be a hero to some and a villain to others for the very same actions. There are no protagonists in the real world. Like, that's the type of story they were trying to tell. Like, oh, because Joel was the hero, because I still think he made a stupid ass decision at the end of the first game. But once again, that's neither here nor there. Even though he made that stupid decision, that's why I was fuck Joel on sight. So when he died, I wasn't mad. I was like, well, you shouldn't have been talking shit. But, you know, once again, neither here nor there. We push forward, and in the second game, the story's plot just falls completely apart. But go ahead and say what you're going to say before we start talking about that.
Okay, so sequel only exists because of the way the first one ended, and the second game starts off with reminding you Joel did the stupidest thing and like ruined humanity because of his like bond with Ellie, which it went against what Ellie wanted. It was just like, why are we here? And then they try to make you feel some sort of sympathy for Joel, and it's just like, but no, like that guy is the enemy of this story. Like, what are you even talking about?
Like, that's why when I was playing the game, anybody who saw me when I did my first couple of hours on stream, I was like, nah, it's fuck Joel off rip. I do. When he got hit with that golf club, I was like, hole in one, a fine swing.
I wasn't like, shouting like happy for someone getting killed, but like, I get that they're trying to like evoke emotion by taking a character that you wrote out through this story all the way with and whatnot, and they killed them off. But hey, if you wanted to evoke that kind of emotion, you could have went with, I don't know, the ending that the first one should have had, where Lee was going to sacrifice herself for the sake of humanity, but
here's the thing. Here's the thing. The second game starts off with the worst quick time. Look, I don't care what anyone says. Last of Us should never have quick time events that require you to push a button and swipe the PS4 like touchpad. That is awful, and it shouldn't happen. That's awful. It's just terrible. But whatever. So we do that. You know, it's trying to set the sentimental thing up where Joel's kind of relaxed, learn to loosen up, allow people to be, you know, to get in, yada yada yada, right? And it's trying to showcase that, you know, he feels as though Ellie is like his second daughter. Keep in mind, she didn't ask for a new father figure. For all we know, she didn't even really like the last one because, you know, not that much time to get attached when you're like 13, 14. But point remains, he's trying to, you know, do the most to bring her some sort of joy in this dystopian future, right? Or I should say dystopian present day at this point. So obviously, being upset, he's depressed because he feels like he's not doing enough. But you get these flashbacks throughout the game that only further show that no, Joel is a thoroughbred piece of shit. Let me give you an example. There's a flashback that happens where you guys are learning how to...
Pause. What's spoilers? Yeah, spoilers?
But at this point, you knew what it was. You knew the deal. It's right. Big spoilers. But there's a flashback where Tommy, you know, Joel's brother, you guys may have forgotten, Tommy is the only person at this point who I thought was relatable and I could care about because they mismanage a lot of character development in this story. But there's a flashback that showcases Tommy's teaching you how to shoot, you know, the sniper. You know, you're trying to be a marksman with the long rifle, you know, and you're doing everything just fine. And then there's like a hotel and a record store, and, you know, you got to go through this hotel to get there. And then you guys get jumped because Joel goes with you. Tommy just stays back after teaching you how to shoot the rifle. So it's just you and Joel spending quality time, and you guys get jumped, right? Zombies infected everywhere, yada, yada, yada. And then at the end, you find out that there's this like dead couple who like were the two runaways from Tommy's camp. And they're like, oh man, these are the two runaways. Nah, man, they didn't get far. Man, that's terrible. And like, you're supposed to like feel bad. And then she was like, man, Ellie looks dead at Joel and goes, it's so weird. You know, you remember how you told me there was dozens of people like me? How come the Fireflies haven't found one yet? Have you ever met one? And then Joel just goes on this rant of, you don't know what you're talking about. They gave up. I told you, they trashed. They gave up. You need to stop worrying about it. And I'm sure most people who are, you know, immune don't want to talk about it because they're just like you. They don't want to open up and they don't want to do any of that stuff. Drop it. And then she's like, but okay, well, while I was knocked out, what happened? Nothing happened. They said they quit. So I took you off the table. It's like, well, why didn't you allow me to ask questions? She said, shut up. It just like started yelling at her and berating her because she was asking the questions that, you know, I figured she would have asked at this point. But it's just like, my God, hello, what are we doing, dude?
And she knew. Then, like in the second game, they show a flashback of her older, like basically being like, yeah, I knew you should have went back there and killed those people. You should have left me there so that I could save humanity. And he's like, oh, and she's like, I'm a big girl. I can do what, you know, do what I want. Cause he was trying to be like, you know, like macho, whatever, like dad guy, whenever, one of the townspeople was trying to give her some like homophobic like spiel, and she was about to fight this dude, and then Joel just comes in and gives this man a 2-piece, and she's like, "What are you doing?"
You talking about the old dude? And she was like, "Yeah, I don't, you know, I'm not, you know, I don't want any meat from the big." I was like, first of all, I already knew I was in for a long haul when that girl gave away 2 pieces of steak. Like, you got steak sandwiches, and she just decided to give them to Jesse, who we will talk about later. Jesse was also like one of the coolest characters in the game because that man had Han from Tokyo Drift vibes, bro. From the mannerisms to wearing that stupid jacket and just being like, yeah, bro, it's all cool, bro. It's perfectly fine, bro. He was one of those. So then there's the let's make out and smoke weed scene, which they knew what audience they were pandering to with that one, which is fine. Didn't have a
There's a
problem.
lot of scenes in the story that are put there to like humanize the characters that are already like human in this situation, and like it was just really weird.
And look,
Every sex scene in the game was not necessary. It was just there to be like, see, guys, like even during a time of the apocalypse, they're regular human beings.
yeah, there's cheeks getting clapped. Like here, all right. Here's the thing that like I didn't like. All right, so the game is sectioned like this: you play as Abby, you play as Joel, you play as Ellie, and then you just get a long period of time where you're just Ellie, until you get to a point to where Abby kicks down the door to the theater, and Jesse just gets shot in the face, just shot. And then she's got Tommy at gunpoint. Says, "I'll shoot him too." And I was like, let me get this straight. So Jesse just came through the door and you just shot him indiscriminately. You just didn't care. But you're not going to shoot Tommy. Even though you know Tommy is the one specifically who killed all your home. I'm really confused on the priority target list here. Because Jesse just got bodied for no reason. Like, for no reason at all.
You need to learn here, Sarah, is that revenge makes everyone very, very sloppy and very emotional, and they don't do things that are of the sound mind.
Look, I get that, but Jesse didn't even get to find out that like he was having a baby. Like my man didn't even get the news.
Yeah,
he like they never told him. He was like, "I'll tell him when the time is right." Bang. Well, that time never coming, bro. So it be like that. It just be like that.
By the way, the whole immunity thing just threw that out the window, huh?
Yeah, like it did not make the trip, which, you know, whatever. As annoying as that may be, fine, whatever. Have at it. That would have
more scientists, no more like nothing.
Who knows? And then in this game, right? Look, as I said, the one thing that helped me grip to the first game was the fact that there was a story of characters that I care about. But in this game, the game is told in the most ass-backward format possible. It's you switch characters, and then you're Ellie for like 40 to 50, no, I'd say like 45 to 60% of the game. And then imagine, just imagine this. Imagine you get to the climax fight where you're fighting what you would deem to be the final boss. And then before you get the resolution of that, it just cuts into the past to when the person who was a final boss was a kid, and now you're playing that.
Mm-hmm.
So then you play Abby for like the rest of like 30, 40% of the game, and then like the last like 10, like the last 5 to 10%, you go back to Ellie. But the reason why this is so stupid is because they try to like really ham-fist the fact that Abby was a good girl. Abby was great. And then some savages didn't like her transitional lifestyle. Spoilers. And
wait, what? No. What?
Look, bro. You know the vibes.
Oh, the Lev is the one that's living the transitional lifestyle.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. The lifestyle.
Whoa.
That's why I'm not saying her life. I'm saying the lifestyle.
I don't get it. I don't get what you mean by like her living the lifestyle.
I mean, look, bro. If you are in a what we would deem a relationship, you are part of the lifestyle.
Relationship with? Wait, are you talking about Abby or Ellie?
I'm talking about Abby. Oh wait, you must not know.
Talking about Abby and Lev? Because Abby was with the what's it? Neil Druckmann character.
Yeah, with with the self-insert guy, and you saw how that ended for him, right?
Dude, yeah. Well, I mean, you know, he got what he wanted out of that. Druckmann got his fantasy, I guess.
But it's weird because he motion capped that scene, which was, according to the rumors, he mocapped that.
It's awkward, man.
It's just weird to me.
Awkward.
But yeah, the ending was weird.
Ending was like the most
because
ass backwards thing ever.
Ellie was salt that she lost the first fight. So she tracks her down, frees her, says, I want my run back. And Abby's like, no, I'm over it. Goodbye now.
No. Here's the awesome part about it, though. First, Ellie saves Abby and Lev after they've been captured.
That's what I'm saying.
Then, like, after they're about to leave, she's like, wait, hold up.
I want my run
back. And she's like, wait, what?
And then Abby's just kind of like, no, I'm over it. And then Ellie walks over to the unconscious body and pulls out the blade and was like, I will slit their throat if you don't give me my run back. And then y'all just give each other hands in the middle of a lake.
Dirty lake.
In the rain. Look like Las Plagas could be out there or some shit. And then like Abby bites 2 of your fingers off. Just to set up the fact that you can no longer play the guitar, the only thing you have left of Joel. So dumb.
Just didn't make sense. I mean, granted, so apparently, I saw the leaks when they came out, and apparently the leak that had Abby like killing everybody was just how the game was going to end. It was going to be like Abby shows up, she gives them all the hands, she gets her revenge, and then whoever's left over goes after Abby at the end of the game. It's like,
but it tries to state that revenge does nothing, but I'm like, it worked out for one of our characters.
Exactly. So like they changed it because so many people got mad about that when it leaked. So they changed it to this like ass backwards ending where like everyone leaves, no one gets their real revenge, and everyone's just kind of like, oh, well, I guess I learned something. Ellie ruined her relationship. Abby lost her muscles. Abby almost died. Abby, I don't know, figured out that she wants to live a life where she just wants to be left alone with Lev, and that's it.
But yeah, Lev is
gone.
Because Lev is the trans character, and I just think it's interesting that because they actually got a trans person to play him, so kudos to them for that, I guess. But oh, you didn't know? Did you not know that?
Know what?
That they actually have a trans voice.
That they got a trans person to play Lev. Oh no, I knew.
Okay. So the thing that I think is interesting about that is, did you hear how people were upset that the character got dead named in the story?
Oh.
There's apparently a cutscene.
About this? I don't know what it was.
The Seraphites called her by the other name that she had before becoming Lev.
Oh yeah, I didn't notice that.
And there were some people who heard about that and who were part of the LGBTQ plus community who were upset that happened and said they wouldn't support the game because that happened. And then you had people who were like, I'm not going to buy the game because there's an LGBTQ person in it.
There are always going to be groups of people who are on those waves, who are like just set in their ways to be super duper like passionate about one side or the other. So that. And nothing you and I can say or do to get them to like the game for the game instead of that kind of content. And I'm not gonna like do or say anything to try and like sway them to do otherwise, because it's a waste of time. They're gonna think that they're gonna like believe, oh well, since someone was dead named, then this game is awful, this is trash. I'm just gonna stick to those convictions.
Facts. But that's where that game's at. Story wise, it's a mess, and it's told in a way in which it's a mess. It wasn't organized in a structure that's worth digesting. And I don't know what they just decided they wanted to make the entire middle 60% a slog. Like you
And
know,
hey, the gameplay is that's all right.
man. Look,
Hey man,
look,
it's
bro.
good
Look,
for the people who are like die hard like
yeah,
Last of
yeah.
Us fans who
That's
want to
great.
play
That's great and all.
for that.
But that whole like, I think I died maybe once, if at most it was twice. But do you know how long that section is, where you got to go through the wolf like
Oh.
neighborhood, and there's just dogs everywhere, and there be people seeing you from like nowhere, bro. You be checking the corner, you be like, "There's no one here." You take a step outside, they're over there. It's like, how? Where did you come from?
Oh man, should have put it on the easiest difficulty so that they don't see you when you're crouching.
Look, bro, I thought about doing that, but I was like, you know what? Nah, I want to see this through. And I got like, I would say like 50% through Abby's part. Like I was like 75, 80% of the game. I just slid that thing to easy at that point. I was like, you know what? I done seen it. None of this matter. None of this matter to me at this point. I should have done it earlier. Should have done it earlier.
Thing that sucks about the game is that it was mostly like bought by people to see where the story was gonna go. So when you had those like sections in the middle that were really sluggish and like took forever to like tell you a story, and then they threw in some zombies there to like scare you and whatnot, remind you that they are living in a world filled with zombies. It was like, didn't need most of this if I wanted this just the story.
Look, let me tell you something, bro.
Like
my crowning achievement was, there's a part where you got to go through like the sewers, and like there's these, they're not called, are they called bloaters? The things that leak gas. Those dudes.
yeah.
Oh, they had a stupid ass name. Anyways, it'll come to me eventually, or it won't. And there was a part where you're supposed to like kill like 14 different runners, then kill the 2 big bloaters, whatever the fuck they're called, and then you're supposed to unlock the door. I just said, fuck this shit. I lured them all to a corner, ran right past them, opened up the door, and was like, I'm not fighting that. I don't have the time. Because there's one thing about
You're playing some Resident Evil.
Yeah, because look, man, we're at a point now where this is kind of like, look, in Resident Evil, they understood how things worked when it came to guns. If I can carry 5 shotguns, or like, okay, 3 shotguns, 2 pistols, a magnum, and all this, I can find more places than to put 9 bullets. Because I'd be saving up my bullets, but then it got to a point to where like, I'd be like, oh, there's another can. But it's like, no, you have 9 shots. You can't load anymore. I'm like, I can't have more than 9? I have a bag. I can have more than 9 for specific guns? Because I know they were trying to really hammer home the fact that you need to swap guns and use all elements of your loadout. I understand that, but boy, was that just tedious at some point. Not gonna lie, man. That game annoyed me more than anything.
Watched Eris play that game, and I don't know, apparently we were all just playing it the wrong way, because he had a lot of fun turning on all of the like accessibility options and like put it on easy and just getting his money's worth out of like all the like nonsense that's in the game, instead of like trying to really like play it straight.
Hey man, maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe the game journalists are onto something. Maybe I gotta slap that thing on journo mode. You know what I'm saying? Make sure everything is super easy. I can just hold W and just walk through everything. My God, maybe that's the wave. Maybe that's the wave. And some people say, "Oh man, was The Last of Us 2 too hard for you?" It's like, it wasn't hard at all. It's just tedious. That's one of the worst things a game could be to me. I understand that. Like Neil Druckmann said, this game wasn't meant to be fun. Boy, he wasn't lying. Boy,
Said that?
Yes. You didn't hear about? Bro, there was a whole thing where they were like, the game wasn't designed to be fun. It was to tell the story. That was the only time that man told the truth, boy.
It's a reason not to buy a game.
Yep. And if it wasn't for the stream donations who came through and said they wanted to see it, I wouldn't have played it at all. Well, I lied. I wouldn't have paid $60. I would have waited for that thing to come down in price, or got the, the complete edition when it's going to have its inevitable DLC and all that other stuff. But like playing it at launch would not have happened. We don't like to use the word fun around these parts. Speaking of which, John, are you still doing your KI stuff at 404? Cause I know you were doing that for a couple of weeks, but I haven't kept up with 404 because I know SubtleFraudulence went there Friday, Thursday.
Yeah. That popped in there, and then
you got a money match with Chop.
No. Greg came up to me. It was like so. I was playing Marvel with Dylan, like. Dylan, me and Dylan were just like fucking around or whatever in the game, and then like he's like, yo, Chop's is gonna be here later. He's like, you gonna play Chop? And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll play him. And then he's like, yo, you want to money match him? And I was just like, I mean, sure, why not? I mean, I don't play him I don't play him very often, so it's like, I mean, I might as well, like, it'll be fun to get to play him. And then all of a sudden it's like, yo, you want to play a $50 money match? I'm like, sure. I mean, I'm already this far, so I might as well. And then it got streamed, and
you wouldn't have had me out there for $50. It's like, I just came here to chill, sir. It's Corona season, bro. I ain't come here to lose no money.
I ain't coming to lose no money. Oh,
that I'm telling you, I ain't come here for that. It's like, yeah, but you could win. It's like, yeah, I could, but $50 ain't enough to do nothing during Corona season. So like, what we really playing this for? Y'all amusement? Nice try.
I did it for the fun. I did it for, the experience to get to, play. That was it. Like, I enjoyed myself. That was it.
Trust me, $50 means more to me. If I have to risk $50 to go to a local, I'll just be like, nah, online warrior for life, baby.
I'm not like gonna do a $50 money match again, because I mean that aspect of it was pointless. I mean, like, getting to play was great, but that's because without Parsec there is no playing Marvel 3, because
that's true.
Boy, the built-in online is.
So what was the score? We playing first to 5, first to 10? What'd y'all do?
It was the first to 10. He won 10-5.
Well, them's be the break sometimes. Yeah, he's
got to play some Third Strike while I was there.
And how'd that go?
Oh, that was nice. Also, I mean, I love that game.
Why ain't you money match somebody in that?
All right, I wasn't going out there trying to take everybody's money or any nonsense like that. I was going out there to enjoy myself, and that's it.
All right, I understand that. I can understand that. You've been busy cosplaying for Blaze Blue Wig commissions? What character? Dare I ask?
The Kokonoe.
Don't do that. If this man actually says Kokonoe, bro, we might end the podcast right here, bro.
But he said commissions. That means it's not for him, right?
Yeah, I'm well aware. I'm just saying, like, I out of all the wigs that he could be, I don't want that to be the one that's called.
Oh man, who would not want to cosplay as Kokonoe?
All right, my guy.
The girl who is the result of a witch and a cat having relations.
Look, if it's Kokonoe, just all right. You just got done with the Ragnar wig, and Jin is up next. Okay, very basic. All right.
Yeah, there is the Ryu and the Ken.
Yep. Sometimes you just gotta have that on deck. You gotta have that on standby. But yeah, Last of Us 2 is. When that man said it wasn't gonna be fun, he was not lying to us.
I really didn't know that he said the game wasn't meant to be fun. It's like that. Just make a movie, man.
I'm telling you, it should have been a Netflix series over and done with. But
he's making what? Is it a Netflix movie or a Netflix series now?
Wait, is it?
It's like he's going to be involved in a project for there to be an actual like live action Last of Us.
Oh well, I won't be caring about that. That's facts. He's got the Kojima mindset. Well, I'd rather play Metal Gear Solid 5 than Then, well, you know the game we just talked about. The show's
HBO
supposed to be on
show.
HBO. Ugh.
HBO is dying.
That means I will Omega
But
not
also
this season.
Westworld in what, the third season was it? That they tried again.
Did it come back?
Westworld had a season that came out. See, you're already with the point here. It came out and it finished.
The Last of Us show can go in the pile with the live action Cowboy Bebop show. Wait, that's an actual thing? I thought that was a joke.
Bebop was a movie.
Oh, that was a joke.
It was going to be a movie. Was it John Cho was going to be like?
Well, you know, there are worse casting choices than that. But hey, I mean, look, for the sake of the argument, let's just hope it's good, all right? Let's just hope it's fucking good. Unrelated, AWA might be up next on the chopping block. I mean, it's just next.
Oh, well, you know, might as well go into that announcement. Dragon Con is now a virtual experience for 2020.
Yes, sir.
If you bought a pass for Dragon Con 2020, that's going to roll over to Dragon Con 2021. And Dragon Con is going to have a free virtual experience for everyone this year because, you know, we got to stay home. We got to, you know, stay safe. We got to not have like thousands of people in one, you know, in these cramped up hotels. And yeah.
Was going to be, we can't have that all in mass. You know what I'm saying? So we got to, you know, social distance. Make sure that we take the proper precautions and stay safe out there, ladies and gentlemen. This is what you got to do. You remember using this time as the hyperbolic time chamber for making cosplayers and saving money? Yeah. Make sure the wallet grows. Everybody's wallet got a Senzu bean now. That's what the stimulus package was. And you know what? Some people found a way to burn through that, and they ain't got nowhere to go. That's what's crazy, bro.
One check of $1,200 at best. Like that pays someone's rent for like 1 month.
I'm talking about the people who still had jobs. I'm not talking about people who got furloughed or sacked or on unemployment. I'm not talking about them. I know people who have jobs who have not stopped working, still get paid, are like, yeah, man, I'm in crisis mode. And I was like, what do you mean crisis mode? And he's like, man, I ain't got no money. I said, bro, you don't even drive to work no more. You work from home. Like you should have more money. Like I'm just, where is it all going? And he's like, well,
bro, that Amazon, like, it just got me. Like, I'm at home all the time. I'm on the computer. I gotta pay,
bro. You know, bro. That was their answer. They said they didn't bought too many games. They don't buy. They pay for this a month. They got Amazon, which is yearly $99, which just hit them. They pay for Netflix, HBO, Hulu. That What's the one with the 7-minute show? Quibi?
Quibi.
Yeah, that one. And I'm like, bro, that's too much, bro. How are you still working and got the Daddy Trump check? And but here's the thing, they weren't broke before COVID. That's the part I don't get. But I guarantee you, if AWA happens, they'll still find a way there. I guarantee you that. Because some of
people are just going to live their lives the way they want to, and if that includes spending all their money, then I mean, who are we to judge, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Who are we to judge? Who are we? That's cap. We know who we are. We don't want to have that conversation. But yeah, I don't get it either. I really don't. There's just too much stuff going on here, bro. There's just too much. Then you got the whole Mike Z situation, which, woo! That was the reason why it's funny is because, like, look. You get ready to judge me, judge, jury, executioner, hot take inbound. Play the new challenger is approaching sound from Melee real quick. Yeah, I think it's funny that people do not keep that same energy for a lot of things. Number one. My man told a specific joke about young George Floyd, and he knew it was not the time nor the place, but then decided he was going to lie and say.
To point out that he was doing this commentary with RP who is a black woman who has shown a lot of her support for the movement, and a lot. It basically talked about the George Floyd murder. This man made this joke, her there, and her instant reaction to hearing this was, "Ew."
Yeah. But let's go on a little bit further. So you may be saying what the joke was. Well, somebody was getting harassed with quite extensive pressure, and he decided to go. Is it safe to say that he can't breathe? And then instead of just saying, "Hey, I was out of pocket. I was definitely out of line," blah 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 blah. His first stance was, "I was just trying to call awareness to the movement."
Apologize for not being funny, man.
On what call? I was really just trying to have y'all's back. Like, let's just say, for the sake of the argument, who's a very popular cosplayer right now? Just give me one. Any of it. Doesn't matter who they are.
Skenigiri.
All right. So let's just say, God forbid, let's just say Nigiri gets sexually assaulted in a terrible way, gets beat up, ultimately killed, and the last thing the dude said was, "Ha! Got him!" Right? Now, let's just say I'm doing commentary, and let's just say it's Blaze Blue and Noah over millions on the ground and getting ground and pounded by Azrael. And I go, "Yo, Azrael, like, ha! Got him!" I was just trying to call awareness to sexual assault. That would not fly. And you know it wouldn't fly.
Excuse me, sir. This is not the time nor the place for you to be bringing awareness to such things. If you want to do that, you can address that after you've finished commentating this match. You can do that, after the tournament is wrapped up. You can do it on your own time.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. That's the big problem. Going hot got him did not bring any awareness, because no one who heard, "Is his face to say can't breathe?" No one was like, "Black Lives Matter." What? Hold on. What is Black Lives? No one was asking that question. How is that bringing awareness? That was not awareness, and you fucking know it.
It's a joke that involves you already being aware of the situation.
Exactly. That's why it's like that. That's why that was trash. Now, when I said the same energy,
just say you're not funny and leave.
Exactly. I was like, that's what. So I brought up the same energy. Said that was a terrible thing that went down, and then he further went down the rabbit hole to say I was bringing awareness and told that lie and doubled down on it. Okay, whatever. Everyone was like, "Oh, we still forgive him," yada yada yada, blah blah blah. Some people were going against him, but what'd you say?
People who are like, "Oh, we forgive him."
Yeah, you don't remember Sharpie, Sonic Fox were just like, it's tough, it's rough. We had a talking to, a stern talking to.
Yeah, I didn't see them like.
Yeah,
I think I saw like Sonic Fox post something, but I didn't see like Sharpie say that she gave him or whatever. I saw people like, "Oh, I'm still gonna play Skullgirls."
No, they're like, "We're still gonna support Skullgirls." Remember, Purple Sharpie had like a twit longer that came out, and then like when you clicked it, it wasn't about Mike Z, it was about Play Skullgirls.
The black,
yeah, and it was like, "Oh, okay, well, that's not necessarily the best thing given the climate, but hey, do you?" It's something that she had done before this ever happened, so it was on brand, so you couldn't really be too mad at it, I guess. So the point is, still saying Play Skullgirls, yada yada yada. The reason why I bring up the same energy quote a lot for this is because then a DM gets unearthed from a cosplayer, or is it Bunny Ayumi? Right, that's the one.
Yeah.
And it's a DM in which she
player and streamer, sir.
Yes, and she led with, "I'm so happy that you have BDSM things and themes in your game, yada 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 yada." Which, keep in mind, Mike Z is not a part of that. He was just designing the mechanical side of the fighting game, not the art direction, the storyboarding.
You for the BDSM Yuri.
Yeah.
In Skullgirls.
And then you led with that, which implies you might be down for some awkward talk. We'll call it that. We'll call it the awkward talk, because that's not a hello, how you doing? I'm glad, that's a very specific thing. To which then later on in that
you can't just assume that she was down for all that just because
No,
you mentioned
pause.
that topic.
Pause.
Come on, man.
Pause.
Maybe she
I'm
just
not
wanted to spank
assuming.
him.
Let me get through it. Let me get through it.
I know.
So
Shit,
then, he brings up in the most awkward way possible. Well, I guess dudes with penises ask you all types of weird, degenerative questions. And she was like, oh, I'm quite used to it. Now, I don't know about y'all, but when someone says they're quite used to it and it doesn't bother me, may not necessarily be a green light to get weird, but it's definitely not a stop sign. So then he proceeded to get weird.
Wait, no. You can't just say get weird. That first part was weird.
You're not wrong. Like, it was all weird.
Penises?
Yes. And then she still continued the conversation after that. Like, that was the red flag right there. Then we went past that, and she said, well, it's all chipper. It's all, good with me. I mean, I've seen it all. And then, sure, was he very, 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 very rude in downplaying her success? Absolutely. If you want to be mad about that, go have at it. Was he trying to downplay everything that she's ever done? Yes. Was he just trying to, give backhanded compliments? Absolutely. But how can a man make a joke about a man dying and then double down and lie upon it by saying, I was trying to call awareness and a lot of you were just crickets, GG's, handshakes, we'll get it next time. But a white girl gets uncomfortable in her Twitter DMs for a bit. We gotta get rid of him. Oh my God, I can't believe. Oh man, it was like watching 9/11. Burn the whole community down. Come on, my guy. That's trash. That's garbo. That's garbaggio.
Is she? Right?
You're a 9/11. How am I not? I mean, I do look pretty.
Anyways,
I do look pretty hideous, but we're not going to keep talking about 9/11.
Dang. The original context.
Yo, past looting lollies, bro. She into that shoulder life. She like young boys.
Yeah, she's doing shows. Anyway, so the girl was on stream. Bunny was on stream, I think playing Skullgirls, and her stream told her to send a message to a lot of the creators behind Skullgirls, basically saying the same thing, thank you for adding the BDSM Yuri in the game. It was some sort of joke that she had with her stream. I don't know why they got her to send those messages, but apparently her interactions with everybody else are fine. They're like, oh, thanks, you're welcome, etc. And then they left it alone. And Mike Z was the only one that was like, oh, hey.
Hey, look, like I said, Mike Z's a weird. Mike Z is a capital weirdo. And the other, you know what the worst part is though? Like I said, we haven't really have you heard about the other allegations about how he treated his Latino coworker?
Oh yeah, I've heard about how.
And I feel like no one talks about that.
A lot of people.
Yeah, apparently he says racist stuff all the time. And if you want to cancel someone, that's the avenue you need to go to. You need to investigate that. But a lot of people aren't really putting in the effort for that because the accusation that I read was apparently he was making jokes like, wow, I'm actually shocked that you can draw because I thought you were a big old thug. And it's because I'm Spanish. I'm not sure I'm picking up what you're putting down there. And, apparently he makes this joke to the dude about 2 or 3 times more afterwards because apparently he forgot he already made the racist joke to him. It's not a good look.
He also makes some joke you all look the same.
Yeah, and it's not a good look, man. It's not a good look. And I'm not saying that you can't have these type of humor. I'm not saying you can't have that. What I'm saying is there are consequences that come along with these things, and they're not okay for the work environment. Whatever type of inside jokes and dumb shit you have with your homies, that's one thing. But the people who are your coworkers ain't your homies. They can be, but it's not the place. That's my point.
Definitely not the place to make racial jokes like that. And you're not funny, sir. Just stop making jokes, man.
Facts. Like I said, we've all laughed at racial jokes. And some people gonna say, "Oh no, I don't." It's like, then you never watched Dave Chappelle. And if you watch Dave Chappelle, then you're lying. You are either lying about watching Dave or you're lying about having laughed at a racial joke. I'm not saying that they can't be funny, but the workplace ain't the place. And no, Mike Z definitely ain't on the level of Dave Chappelle. Let's make sure we get that 100% out of the way.
No one will ever say something like that. Mike Z is the opposite of Dave Chappelle. So this whole Mike Z thing happened like right before the like Twitch allegations came out, right before like Dr. Disrespect got like mysteriously banned from Twitch.
Oh, that man
like,
got
all
shot,
those
bro.
like things happened like right after this. So I think the main reason why people aren't talking about the Mike Z stuff as much is because we have like all these other things to like address right now. It's like,
it just keeps
some people
piling
got caught
on.
doing crazy shit.
And then like you turn around and it's just like Mixer disappears, and then it's like, all right, well, you know, that's weird. And then you had the two stories of where you had like the racist board meeting nonsense that was unearthed. I don't know if you heard about that.
What, Mixer?
Yeah, Mixer.
Oh yeah, wasn't that like part of the reason why like they were getting like allegations about that?
That's what everyone assumes, but there were no confirmations. But everyone just assumes that because I mean, the timing just seemed mad abrupt.
Because they put out a tweet related to that, and then like a couple of minutes later, they're like, "All right, well, we're done. Mixer's over."
So here's my thing: how do you think that like came about? Do you think it was like someone who was like in charge, like I don't know, someone who's like in a Phil Spencer-esque role decided they were just gonna put on their binoculars, like, you know, like an NFL, get under the tent, and they were like, all right, well, it's not that bad of a problem. Oh, got it. Oh, it's everybody. Shut it down. Shut it down.
I think it was something like the Facebook deal was going underway, and they're like, should we like just close and then merge with Facebook, or should we like, you know, keep our stuff, you know, alongside Facebook and then just kind of like hype each other up? And then this came out, and they're like, oh nope, shut it down. They're like, get it all out of here. Yep. We don't need that Mixer name anymore.
Yeah, we don't need it. We don't need it. And it's not bueno. And then Dr. Disrespect just gets moved. Has it ever? Because Twitch didn't even talk about it. They were just like, "Yep, life goes on."
He has said that he doesn't know why he got banned.
Yeah, he was just like, is he back yet, or is he still gone?
I think he's still gone.
And he's just like, I have. And everyone's just like, they don't know. Like, he's just like, I have no idea. Twitch hasn't gotten back to me. Yada, yada, yada. Nope, it's still...
Channel's up.
Oh, his channel's up?
Channel's up now.
No, I clicked on it. It says, so unless you got a time machine, that content is unavailable.
Oh, I might have like a different channel then. He might have like put up a different channel, or this might be some like copycat dude or something. But
wait, hold on. What's the channel?
Disrespect. Like, it's Dr. Disrespect _.
Oh, well, that's not. Nah, his was Dr. Disrespect. He had the actual name.
Okay, yeah. Then,
he tried
to start a new channel.
Dr. Disrespect _?
Yeah.
You sure it's spelled right? Because when I type in that channel, it also tells me that.
Oh no, it's Dips. It's like Dips Respect. It's spelled incorrectly. Hold on. I'm gonna put it in Discord. It's like this is like really weird. It's like someone who's either trying to like be Dr. Disrespect, or it's just him like starting a new channel to like get people to to get people to like watch his shit while he's. Oh no, yeah, this is a fake.
Yeah, that's a cosplayer, bro. That's a cosplayer.
Yeah, Dr. Disrespect still banned.
my man is collecting on his grave, bro. This is unreal. Hello? You know what makes me tight, bro?
What?
My man's got all the not as good, but he's got all the stupid green screen effects where he stands in front of stuff and he's like, listen here, Club. this he don't look nothing like him, but there was an attempt. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
Do whatever you can for clout, I guess, even when you have to be someone else. But hey, you got it. Also, did you hear that Ubisoft now has like sexual allegations in it? Nobody's safe, bro.
Not surprised. Not surprised at all.
But I mean, that's just where we are with it right now, guys. It's ugly. But hey, that's what it is.
Well, there's a rumor that Dr. Disrespect was banned because he said some like wild like COVID things, like basically gave people on his stream advice that is completely the opposite of what they should be doing.
Just the complete opposite. Like what? Like just like you don't need a mask. We can beat it
stuff
together.
Like that. Like you don't really need a mask. Like probably like borderline COVID is not real type of nonsense.
COVID's not real.
They had a problem, and so they got him like out of here because of that. But still would have said something to him.
Yeah, like I mean, he makes enough money for the platform to not have a conversation with him at all. Just big boop is weird. Also, then there's the whole speculation that like I don't know if you saw like the last few minutes of his stream, of the last stream he had before he got banned. Boy, that was weird. So for those of you who don't know,
he like read something and he just had a look on his face.
Well, it wasn't just how he read it. All right, so basically, like I said, I don't watch Dr. Disrespect, so I do not know if this is normal, standard affair.
Me neither.
But somebody like either subscribed or donated and told him to watch a video, and it's like a video of like an 8-year-old and like his friends playing Fortnite and like low quality and like real bad mics with echo effects, and it's just playing in the background like, oh yeah, we're doing it, woo, yeah. Or maybe it was Minecraft. It was one of the two, and he's just like sitting there in silence, clearly not looking at the video. His eyes just going back and forth like he's looking at something. Kind of like if you were reading something, and then he just out of nowhere just sits back and just goes, "Don't worry, guys, we're gonna get through this. We're gonna beat this. It's been a wild ride, but we're gonna get through this." Then he just sits there for like 2 or 3 seconds, and then just goes, "Fuck!" And then the stream just ends. And it's just really weird. And I was like, I don't know how his streams normally go, but that's just weird to me. That's just really weird to me.
That dude definitely has an outro. He definitely has like a montage he plays.
Well, no. He pressed it. He did press it. He goes, fuck. And then the outro starts playing with like him doing all the flames and kicks. Like that does play.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then he does end the stream, but it just felt really weird. But like I said, who knows? Maybe that's just how he ends streams sometimes. And it just so happened to be the last stream before he got banned. But hey, it is what it is. This is the same guy who went into the bathroom with a GoPro. So I can't say he's the most forward-thinking person. So hey, maybe there's some allegations that were levied against him, but Twitch doesn't want to make it public because they don't know if they're true or not. Who knows?
Isn't that kind of weird compared to like all these other allegations, like including an allegation against like the CEO?
Yeah, but remember they were very hush hush about the CEO one. So I mean, it would fit with the narrative, but it be what it be, I guess. I don't know. The internet's a weird place. But yeah, man, it's been almost 2.5 hours. So if you want to wrap this thing up in a nice little subtle fraudulent bow, what you got for us? What's the sermon? Oh my God, don't tell me that oh my God, his internet died. No, not like this. Fraudulence. Come on, man. My man was about to give us the sickest of outros and he died. And then he died. Yeah, Beautiful, we talked about that. Don't worry, you'll catch it in the VOD. We already addressed that one. Maybe that is his outro. Well, just in case you guys didn't know, the internet was a mistake. We'll be back at it soon. to keep you all informed or misinformed, however you guys want to look at that. And to be honest with you, I really don't know where this is actually going to go. But don't worry, chat. We're going to get through this. We're going to get on the other side a little bit better than what we came in on. Don't worry. We can beat this. Fuck!